The current series I'm working on is inspired by surreal little snippets of childhood memories that exist as a mental archive in my mind. Entitled Fruit Flies, the work is a series of digitally manipulated animated videos that attempts to place my viewer in an absurd version of my memories. The dualities of growing up in my grandmother's traditional Singaporean Indian home in the early 2000s was definitely the fuel I needed for an overactive imagination. Hindu gods were seen as cartoon characters, traditional ornaments were used as toys, and the entire house was essentially a fantasy land that interestingly merged seamlessly with the digital prominence of the early 2000s while still maintaining a traditionally hands-on upbringing. Ultimately, my work is a multi-sensory mashup of themes, memories, and references that exist chaotically in the subconscious mind. Typically, I begin a new project by defining the key idea I'm trying to address, followed by mood boarding, brainstorming, and experimenting with the physicality of how I want to present the work physically. To be honest, I don't think any of my work has ever begun the exact same way. Sometimes it'll stem from an aesthetic practice I've been researching, and other times will expand from an idea I've had on standby for a while. However, for the current series I'm working on, the starting point actually came from the initial research methodologies I undertook. In order to trigger old childhood memories, I explored methods of meditation, journaling, and hypnotism that actually ended up acting as the foundation to continue making the work, conceptually and physically.
Your breath going in and out.
For me, the key to resolving problems in my work is by first figuring out what the root of the problem is. I've learned that being able to take a step back, disassociate, and then look at my work in a critical point of view is something that's helped me a lot in terms of figuring out problems in the long run. I've learned that time is a really valuable luxury, and the ability to take a step back from my work, even if it's just for a little while, allows me to relieve any anxieties and then come back to my work and fix any problems at hand without acting entirely irrationally. That common saying, "You're your own worst critic," often comes to mind when I am in the pit of crisis, and is often the encouragement I need to take a break, be patient, and even seek out advice from friends and peers. My work is essentially grounded in experimentation, and is equally focused on taking the photograph as it is editing it in post-production. I'm interested in the way a photograph's perception can be altered based on the way it's been edited, through colors, effects, and digital tools. Thus, I work more within a digital space. I enjoy the correlation between having such a hands-on stylistic approach when it comes to actually taking the photographs, through creating sets and locations that are altered digitally in a way that still embodies the same idea of tactility through the playful inclusion of hyperreal colors and unconventional Photoshop tools. Without experimentation, I don't think there would have been any growth or refinement within my personal practice. And it's only through the process of trial and error that I've been able to figure out what I like, what I don't, what works, and what doesn't. I pretty much work entirely from my home, from the initial research all the way to shooting and even to editing. I find that there's a lot of freedom in being mobile with my sets and allows me to set up where I feel the natural lighting works best that day. And depending on the shoot, that'll be inside or outside. This process is usually quite hands-on, a little bit chaotic, and super cluttered. So working in a space where all my materials all already exist has been super helpful for me. In terms of post-production, I like to be in my own little bubble and away from any uninvited distractions. In fact, I find the process to be quite relaxing, and I almost get myself in a meditative state through the comforts of food and music. Like I said, I'm very easily distracted, and preferably this is all done from the safety of my own bedroom, where I can avoid the confrontation of passerbys, onlookers, and my lovely family and friends.